Today I'm talking about a new law being passed in the UK that could make some airsoft guns illegal. Check it out. Hey guys, Mike from Templar Airsoft.com. Thanks for watching. First thing I want to say is no need to panic. Don't start flapping. Don't start drilling your holes in your guns and setting them on fire and burning the evidence. For those of you that are aware of, or for those of you that are unaware, the Policing and Crime Bill, which was put out last year to make reforms within loads of different areas of crime reduction, including firearms and things like that. That has now been passed through Parliament. It's been given royal assent. It's now an act. It is coming into effect. There is a new law in the UK that is going to dictate how our guns can be, what power limits our guns can have. I'm not going to go into all the details and the specifics of the law. I'm going to concentrate on airsoft and the very basics of it. I'm not a lawyer. I've spoken to the guys at UK Airsoft Players Union to clarify my understanding so that I can get this video out to you guys. The key point as well, again, I've already said it, I'm going to say it again, is you guys don't need to panic. This law, it will come into effect, but it hasn't been enacted just yet. So what are the basics of it? Basically, if you've got a gun that can fire any form, well, more than 2 missiles or more per pull of the trigger, so anything that can do any form of burst mode or fully automatic, your gun cannot be firing above 370 FPS. So your gun needs to be below 370 FPS or 1.3 joules, which is how the police are going to test it. If you've got a bolt action or a DMR, any gun that can fire semi-automatic only and is locked off to semi-automatic, your gun has to chrono below 520 FPS or 2.5 joules, I think. So, in a nutshell, any fully automatic capable or burst capable gun needs to be below 370 FPS, and any single shot gun, so DMRs, bolt actions, needs to be below 520 FPS. Now, I know some people have been getting excited because they think the sight limits are going to go up. Oh, we've got the extra 20 FPS to play with, blah, blah, blah. No, probably not going to happen, and here is why. If you contravene, or if you go over those limits in either category, now, because this has been brought into as a law, because previously in the UK there was no definition for what was a lethal energy limit. Now, basically, they've brought in this restriction. So if you break the first rule for fully automatic fire gun, you go over 370 FPS ish, you're committing an offence with, I believe it's possession of a Section 5 firearm. If you go over the other limit with a bolt action or a single shotgun, you go over 520 FPS, it's then an air rifle, and shooting at people then becomes assault with a weapon and a load of other problems. The basics you need to know is contravening both of those FPS limits is really bad news, or those energy limits is really bad news. So it's unlikely that any site owners are going to increase your FPS. So calm down on that one, probably not going to happen. And I personally think any site limit that pushes up towards the 370 limit is absolutely bonkers, because as I said, you're just putting yourself in a bad situation, because currently if someone chronos their gun and it's a few FPS over, it's a case of that gun's too hot, go put it in the safe zone, use a different gun. Now it's a case of you've got a Section 5 firearm, does the site owner phone the police? Do they let you walk off site with it, knowing full well that you could then get pulled over outside for some random search or whatever, and then you're in possession of it, and then it's just a whole world of problems. So it's unlikely the site limits are going to change, apart from possibly DMRs. DMRs now have a legal limit of 520 FPS, so it's possible that some sites are going to allow DMR users to bump their FPS up to 500, fall in line with bolt actions, because obviously the law says that. But I wouldn't expect every site to do that, and it's not a guarantee, so don't get too excited about that. If you're a gas blowback HPA or HPA user, or someone that has built a DMR yourself, you guys need to pay particular attention to these regulations as they come into effect, and I highly recommend that you keep an eye on the UK Airsoft Players Union page, on Facebook or on their website, and I'll put links in the description, because there are some murky grounds that need clarification regarding those systems. So firstly, HPA and gas blowback users, it's not entirely clear on whether or not, once your guns are confiscated, it's not entirely clear how the police are going to test that for the FPS. If the police are going to take your gun and test it exactly as found, with the gas that you have or the regulator they have set exactly as it is, then everybody's going to be fine. If, however, they are going to say they confiscate your gun as a HPA user, they get it to the forensics place to do testing. If they're going to crank that regulator up to see what maximum power it can do, obviously then there's potential there for guys to fall foul of the law. Same with gas blowback. Are they going to put the most powerful gas they can get their hands on and put it in an oven for 5 minutes to heat it all up and then fire it, or are they just going to test it as found? So that needs clarification. Some people have been suggesting drilling out your regulator, grub screws and super gluing them. Don't do that. Don't start modifying anything just yet, because the law, it's not coming into effect yet. It will come into effect. I believe I spoke to UK Airsoft Players Union earlier today, and they said they were led to believe that around springtime they'll be notified of when this law is going to actually roll into effect. The government aren't stupid. They're going to give us time to get ourselves together for this. They know, or they should know, and I'm sure if they don't know, the UK, the Players Union guys, I'm sure they're going to make them aware that there could potentially be a lot of guys that are instantly overnight turned into criminals if they just flick the switch on this law as it is. So please don't start panicking. Wait for clarification and follow the Players Union guys on Facebook or on their website to keep clarification. They are in constant talks at the moment with the Home Office for clarification there. Second thing you need to clarify is DMR users. If you've built a gun from if you've built a DMR gun from a fully auto gun, there's the possibility that the government may, it's not clear whether or not the fully auto guns, if it's designated at factory or if it's the end use. If it's designated at factory, any gun that rolled off the factory line as a fully auto capable gun will need to be below that 370 FPS. If it's designated at end as you're using it, then obviously as long as you've converted it so it can't be changed easily, then you might have that higher limit. And obviously at the moment all DMRs on pretty much all sites are allowed up to 450 FPS. So most DMRs that have been built, if the switch is flicked and the government won't allow you to convert a fully auto gun into a DMR and have that higher FPS limit, then there's a possibility there that obviously there's a lot of guys that are going to be contravening the law and in possession of Section 5 firearms. So if you're a DMR user, as well as HPA and the gas blowback guys, I urge you strongly, keep an eye on the Players Union Facebook page, or if you're not on Facebook, on their website. Again, links in the description, because you need to know what you can and can't do with regard to these systems so that you stay within the law. As I said, the consequences of falling foul of this now that they've designated these power limits are quite severe. But as I've also said, it's nothing to worry about just yet. You just got to be aware. Just be aware. That's the whole point of this video. It's not to scare anyone, panic on anyone or anything like that. Just to make sure you guys are aware. Either follow me or or to like the page, the Players Union page, whatever. Just make sure that you're aware and keep yourselves informed from the guys that are actually talking to the Home Office. Don't buy into too much about what you see from random guys on Facebook that haven't checked facts, because there's been some absolutely almost laughable comments that have been made, and some of the questions I've had of that guys have basically been given some information that I've received messages and they're clarifying some of the information they've been given is just ridiculous. So that's as it is. A fully auto gun below 370 FPS. Bolt actions or semi-auto only guns below 520 FPS. If you're a gas blowback HPA user, keep an eye out so that you can find out what you need to do to your regulators, or what you need to do to stay within the law. And if you're a DMR user that's got a bedroom built for example, or a custom built from a shop or whatever, a gun that wasn't locked to semi-auto at the factory. If you're one of those guys, obviously you need to keep an eye out on the law. And that's it, that's the basics of it. Obviously there'll be more information to come. I said the Players Union guys, they really have been beating a drum for us, for the Airsoft guys and UKARA as well. Those guys, they have put a lot of time and effort in speaking to the Home Office to make sure that we get this rule. For those of you who don't know, the government wanted to restrict all our guns to 1 joule. And that's all guns, all airsoft guns. That's what they've set the lethal threshold at for power limits. Because of the work the UK Airsoft Players Union and UKARA have put in, the government have included an exemption for airsoft. That's why we've got the limits we've got. Otherwise, all our guns would have to be at 1 joule. You know, those guys, they've really done a good job. That's it for this video. As I said, and I've said repeatedly, and I'm going to repeat myself again, and I make no apologies for it, do not panic. It's nothing to panic about yet. Just make sure you are aware that these laws are going to come into effect and that they could potentially affect you as an airsoft player. If you're just an AEG user and all your guns are under 350, you've got nothing to worry about. If you're an AEG user and you've got a pistol and the pistol is below 350 and it's a semi-only pistol, you've got nothing to worry about. It's only full auto guns that are gas and HPA and are not built from the factory as semi-only. You know, you guys, you just need to be aware that these changes are coming. They could potentially affect your guns and how you move forward with those guns in the future once this law comes into effect. So keep an eye out for further information. Please share this video around, or if you don't want to share my video around, please at least go onto the UK Airsoft Players Union page and share the post that they've written. Again, the link will be in the description. Just share the correct information out there and make sure that the community doesn't go into panic mode and implode upon itself with bullshit stories and people telling people to do this and do that, and you have to do this and do that. So please get the message out there. Make sure everybody's aware that these laws are coming in and everybody needs to be aware of what they are now. That's it for this week. Tonight's video was going to be the review of Draft Club BBs, but that will come out next week now because I wanted to get this message out tonight. I didn't really want to delay it. So that's it. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.